Welcome to the Gump Report. I gotta do this, guys. Now, if anyone's seen my NWA and, my Power and USA review, I hope you guys liked it. I need to get this done. I'm sorry. I heard what happened with Naomi and what Sonya Deville's storyline with her. I don't care. When it comes to her and Charlotte, I'm actually very glad they're working together. Look, you guys know me. You guys know for years. I've talked about how one time Naomi and Charlotte worked together. Now, I'm not saying it was a perfect match. Both of them were botchy. Naomi might have been a little more than her. It's one of the first times those two ever worked together. And when that happened, Naomi never touched Charlotte again. She worked with Alexa Bliss. She's worked with Bailey. She easily worked with Sasha. But she barely or zero worked with Charlotte. So this year, it's good to see that she finally got some work with Charlotte. And I've seen snippets of what they did. And particularly this Friday SmackDown, I did see the match. It was a good match. But here's the problem for me personally. I got to say this. I'm sorry. Naomi Knight. That is how she started. If I remember correctly, she started in FCW around 2009 to 2010. I actually think she started in 2009 along with the Usos. That's how she met Jimmy or Jonathan Fatu. I'm telling you now, she's been there a long time. Nearly 13 years, I believe. 12 to 13 years already. And I just feel like for her, as much as I know she may love WWE, she loves her husband, it's time to move on. I'm saying this now because honestly, the way the women's divisions are on SmackDown, on Raw, on NXT, it's garbage. I'm saying it now. The divisions are garbage. When it comes to Raw, there's no one there to do anything. They got rid of so many people, or they're just focusing on just a few people. Becky and whoever they think, or whoever she thinks, because Becky's not innocent. I saw the Broken Skull podcast. As nice as Becky is, and as genuine as she is, she politics no better than anyone else. So don't ever think that she's no better than Charlotte. She politics her ass just like everybody else. That's how it goes. The question is going to be, are you politicking just for yourself, or are you politicking to help others who in the end will help you? Because there are wrestlers who understand that concept, that if you get certain people next to yourself up a bit, it makes you look better. It brings you in more money. It brings you in more merch. More merch, more money, more appearances on TV. You get more money. More that you get on the pay-per-view, more money. And well, counting on if they're going to give it to you, unless they're just going to do a guaranteed contract. I'm just saying. But there are so few women that they're allowed to do anything. It's garbage. Why are you going to care? Dewdrop was stupid. Pepper should have stayed Pepper. They're going to care more about Alexa Bliss than they're going to care about Naomi. And many people are going to say, well, why not? Because she had an incredible storyline over the last 2 years. A storyline that belonged to Bray Wyatt. That when he was gone, they decided to give to her. And when they fired him, they let her keep it. Where many people are still angry about that. Where he deserved better. What do you think is going to happen? When Lacey Evans eventually comes back, do you actually think Naomi is going to be above Lacey? No. There's a very good strong possibility when Lacey comes back after she has a second child that she will be pushed beyond Naomi. Naomi is one of the few women that is shown on TV constantly but never gets anywhere. The only time when she ever got anywhere is when she had a feud with Alexa Bliss and she was allowed to win the championship at WrestleMania. After that, because remember, she got hurt previously before that, had to relinquish the title. Then eventually Alexa got it, and then she got a chance to get it back at WrestleMania. That's it. That's how it goes. That's all she's done. And even though she managed to go from the Funkadactyl to Naomi. Then she went to Feel the Glow, became a champion, and now has gone back to Feel the Glow Naomi. She has not gone anywhere. She's not done anything. And we get her with Sonya Deville. I just feel like at this point in her career, it's time to move on. She's done everything she can in the company. She's worked on Raw. She's worked on SmackDown. The only place left for her to work and do something totally new would be NXT 2.0. But even then, NXT 2.0 doesn't really mean much because what will happen if she goes there? Like an AJ Styles went down there to try and put over some of their new talent that literally they care more about than the current talent from the original NXT. Even though some of the people are still there, they're not really cared that much about. So she goes down there, she'll probably put over women there. And the kicker's going to be that it's going to make her look worse. Not because she can't perform well with them. It's because she's going to have to sell her ass off to them eventually. And honestly, a wrestler in the caliber of a Naomi Knight does not need to have to job so badly to people in the Performance Center who's only had less than a few months or barely a year. Because Vince wants to bring everyone up of 2.0 right now to the main rosters. He wishes he could, but he can't. Braun Breaker is not ready yet. But if he was, he would have brought him up and he'd be pushing them a lot more and try to phase out a lot of the current wrestlers that is on there, like Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm sure he would try to phase out Cesaro. He would probably phase out a Sami Zayn, a Kevin Owens. He would probably try to phase those people out for everyone that he's going to be developing on NXT because he's tired of trying to develop the people that Triple H created who were well over, that were done well, but he was not in the mood to make them what he wanted. Instead of leaving them alone, he said no. The difference between, let's say, Naomi in this case, she went through as a Funkadactyl when it came to Tyrus, who was the Funkasaurus. She's had years to be developed through Vince's system. She's a mainstay, but she's a nobody. She's had 2 reigns. The first one cut short because she got hurt, and then the second one was at WrestleMania, and then eventually when she dealt with Charlotte in 2016 to 17, had 1 match with her. She was never seen again with Charlotte until now, when she did some damn good matches with her. So I'm saying this. She needs to leave. She's done. She has nothing left in WWE. What has she got left to do? What do you think is going to happen at WrestleMania? Is she actually going to be facing a Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania? You think she's going to be facing a Charlotte at WrestleMania? The only thing she'll probably do is maybe, counting if they don't end it now before Elimination Chamber, is her feud with Sonya Deville. And she will be done with Sonya. And then what? What will she be doing? Unless she goes into Elimination Chamber and she wins the Elimination Chamber and she faces either Charlotte or a Becky. That's the only option. And it wouldn't make any sense for her to go to Charlotte because Ronda Rousey's involved in this. So the only person she could work, if they build her right, will be Becky. And that is a SmackDown girl dealing with a Raw girl and counting on if Naomi is switching brands over, which I doubt because they may have a brand split. They don't follow the rules of it, which makes no damn sense because they keep saying it. That's the best you're going to have for her. And then, let's say she does go up against Becky. Whether she wins or loses. What do you think is going to happen to Naomi after that? 2 scenarios. Let's say she does win against Becky, and it's not Bianca Belair. That's going to face her because of what happened last year and that 26-second tobacco. I don't care what anyone says, that should have never happened. It shouldn't have. Let's say she wins. Who is she going to be dealing with? Bianca, Becky, and maybe a returning Alexa Bliss. Maybe. And how long do you think she's going to keep that title? I doubt very long. She'll either job to a Becky quickly, she'll job to Alexa Bliss, and then maybe she'll have some type of program with Bianca Belair where I doubt they're going to give her the title. She'll let her keep the title, but then drop it to a Becky or an Alexa Bliss. I don't see anything in that scenario. Then, counting if she does win the Elimination Chamber, she deals with Becky, she goes to WrestleMania and loses. What then for a Naomi? What do you think happens to a Naomi after WrestleMania if, and that's if, she doesn't have a match with Sonya Deville at WrestleMania and she does have a match with Becky? What do you think happens to her? Right back to square one, just coming out, having matches, either tag matches or by herself, and helping someone else's storyline along, jobbing for somebody, and maybe, just maybe, winning a couple of times, maybe, because they don't let women win barely at all, and that counts in how long the matches are, because guess what? Women's matches on WWE, you see I'm getting angry. I'm botching my words. On WWE, women's matches don't even last more than 8 to 10 minutes unless you're Becky, unless you're Charlotte. Maybe when Bayley comes back, maybe. Sasha, I don't know. She's a wild card at this point. She is. So what do I think should happen to Naomi? Trinity of Fatu, because that's what she's going to be called if she leaves WWE, because she's legitimately married to John Fatu, which is Jimmy Uso. A Trinity, she'll have many options. She'll easily could go to AEW. Yes, the women's territory is bloated. Yes, we know there's over 100 people there easily. Well, I say this between 100 and 135 people because easily Elevation and Dark has people that are basically being tried out. And then they could get, maybe if they're lucky, after they've been paid for a couple of times coming in to be taped, they may get a 6-month contract. She could go there. Easy. Flat out. No problem. She'll probably might be allowed to come in. Maybe. Just like a Keith Lee. Because she is well known and well loved. And if she leaves WWE, the moment she appears on AEW TV, people are going to go nuts. She will make people look at her. Now, will she move the needle? No, not much anything different from Keith Lee. But it's not the point. She will make something of herself on that television as long as they do book her properly. The next place, Impact Wrestling, where honestly, that would be a big change for her. Impact Wrestling will be a big change. And I do believe it will be very interesting for her if she did go over there. She will be dealing with a lot of different things compared to WWE. It will be a scaled down version compared to AEW, where they could still get up to 10, 20, maybe 25 or 30. Impact Wrestling's fans are way smaller. And counting on the venue they're in, you could get maybe 2 to 4 or 5,000 people. But generally, when they do tapings in small venues, it is going to be tiny. So that's going to be a bit of a shock for her. Not just how they do the style of their booking, but also the venues they do. Because you guys know, even though they're now doing different venues like they're in Florida right now, does not mean she's going to be used to the smaller crowds. Even though the pandemic took everybody away and they come back and now, it could be a little bit of a difference for her. But she could easily make something in Impact Wrestling. Guys, Naomi could easily make waves in Impact Wrestling. Will she move the needle? No. It counts on their booking. Like I've said before, look at their ratings right now. Still, the ratings are not huge. They can't get back even to when they were normal between 150 to 200K. Until they do that, and then they add like a Naomi. If Keith Lee hadn't gone to AEW, a Keith Lee, a Johnny Gargano, a Tommaso Ciampa, or anyone else that could make a wave if they were normal at 250, or no, not 250, 200 to 150, I give my word, if they were normal and they booked properly, then they would do something. Maybe they might get up to 400K. Of course, they'll never be bigger than Rampage because, of course, we already know they are on a different network that doesn't have the same reach. But like I said before, even with that, You still got 150, you got 50 million people, and if they make waves and get at least 2 to 300,000, even if they're not on a very well-known network, they should do something. Now, what about NWA? No, I just don't see Naomi going to NWA. Naomi, I don't think would fit very well in NWA, even though I'm sure she can adapt. I just don't see her doing it. I just don't see NWA being a good fit for her. Because even though Naomi's a good wrestler now, and she can talk well, knowing how NWA is, not because she's black, it's just how it's being booked at this time, I just don't think that she will be spotlighted the way she should be. Naomi is a great wrestler that has a lot of flash and flair. They don't do intros unless it's a pay-per-view. A lot of what she does requires them to do Titantron. Not that she can't work without it. The point is, that's a part of who she is. And I just don't see that being a good fit in NWA. Now, MLW. I haven't seen the product in a while, and I know people have been saying, I know they're saying that looks better, but the last time I looked, which was about 7 months ago, no. Sorry. I did take a look at one episode, maybe about 3 months ago, when it had, it was an old episode, and it had, what was, not Eddie Edwards, it was, Davey Richards, who looks like he's back in wrestling again. I wanted to see that match, but I hadn't seen the current product. Now, mind you, they could have easily changed everything, but still, when I looked at 7 months ago, not compared to 4, no. The camera work still looked like crap. The audio still sounded like crap. The lighting still looked bad. So, honestly, if they have improved, I will sooner or later, I will check out MLW just to see. But honestly, if the lighting is still just the same, if the camera work is just the same, and just because they're now having the people from Lucha Underground working with them, they think it's going to be better, that's bullshit. I will eat it shit. Not eat that. That sounds so bad. I got that backwards. I will tell it, fuck it, it's shit. There you go, that's correct. I eat it shit. I can't believe I said that. You never know what's going to happen on a Gump report. I just made myself look bad. I'm not going to bleep that. It's staying in. Guys, whoever watches these, if you love me for who I am, you know I botch my ass off and say the most stupidest stuff, even though you know what I'm saying. This is what you get. But this is my Gump report on Naomi. Please leave a comment below, maybe a like or two. Link this over to Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Hopefully somebody might want to look at it. I don't know. Peace.